The toys you wanted most as a kid, you never really forget them. That feeling of waking up early, racing downstairs, hoping your biggest wish came true. Back in the 60s and 70s, it wasn't about scrolling through websites. It was about circling pictures in catalogs, dropping hints at dinner, and hoping your parents noticed. In this video, we're taking a look back at the most iconic Christmas toys of the 1960s and 70s, the ones that made the season unforgettable.
They're the fastest metal cars you've ever seen. Mattel's new Hot Wheels.
Hot Wheels were introduced by Mattel in 1968 and quickly stood out from other toy cars. They were brighter and faster than anything else we had. We lined them up, raced them across the floor, and argued about which one was the fastest. Later on, Hot Wheels Sizzlers added motorized speed, which felt almost unreal at the time. Small boxes, plenty of excitement, and hours of racing once you tore through the wrapping paper. The Easy Bake Oven became popular in the early 1960s and quickly landed on a lot of wish lists. It used light bulbs to heat small trays of cake or cookies. We mixed ingredients, followed the steps, and waited for the timer to finish. Sometimes it worked out, sometimes it didn't. Either way, making something on your own was part of the fun, even if the frosting never looked quite right. Etch A Sketch started as an idea by a French technician who called it the magic screen. After he struggled to find anyone willing to manufacture it, the Ohio art company took a chance, rebranded it, and launched it in the United States. American TV ads did the rest. By 1960, it had become a Christmas must-have. There was something satisfying about twisting those two knobs, watching lines appear from nothing, and then, best of all, erasing everything with a single shake. That part never got old. The electric football game was known for its sound before anything else. The moment you flipped the switch, that steady buzzing filled the room. Players spun in place, circled the field, and sometimes hooked around the goalpost instead of heading forward. Every now and then, the ball carrier actually broke free and moved the right way, and that's when the yelling started. Lincoln Logs go back to 1916, when John Lloyd Wright, son of the famous architect, invented them. By the 60s and 70s, they were already a classic. Those notched wooden logs made it easy to build cabins, forts, and little frontier towns on the living room floor.
We'll fight for freedom wherever there's trouble. G.I. Joe is there. G.I. Joe!
G.I. Joe hit stores in 1964, and Hasbro didn't call him a doll. They coined the term action figure. The early figures came with uniforms, helmets, and gear that made kids feel like they were running real missions. We staged battles, lined up squads, and took the vehicles way too seriously. When a new Joe arrived at Christmas, the first thing we did was inspect the outfit and equipment, like it actually mattered. Spirograph became a must-have in the mid-60s, sold in the US by Kenner. It was just plastic gears and a pen, but the designs looked almost impossible to draw by hand. We'd sit there spinning the wheels, switching colors, trying not to let the pen slip. Half the fun was the focus and that satisfying sound. The other half was showing off the finished page like it was a masterpiece that kept us busy for hours. Atari 2600 was the kind of gift that changed what the whole family did after dinner. It launched in 1977, and a Sears version was even sold as the video arcade system. The price wasn't small, which is why it felt like a huge holiday present when it arrived. We plugged it into the TV, slid in a cartridge, and suddenly the living room turned into an arcade. For a lot of us, it was the first time video games felt like they belonged at home.
Lite-Brite, Lite-Brite, make a face to glow at night.
Lite-Brite was simple, but it kept us busy. It came out in 1967, and the idea was perfect. A glowing grid, black paper, and colorful pegs you push through to make pictures. We'd copy patterns for a while, then start making our own. Get one of these, and you'd find yourself hunched over it that same evening, lights low, pegs clicking into place one by one. Chatty Cathy made a lot of kids stop and stare when they heard her for the first time. She was introduced by Mattel in 1960, and instead of just sitting there, she actually talked. You pulled a string and got a different phrase each time, which felt pretty advanced back then. and if she was a Christmas gift, you can bet the string got pulled about 100 times that day. Twister didn't look like a normal board game, and that's why it worked. Milton Bradley released it in the mid-60s, and at first, it wasn't a huge hit. Then Johnny Carson played it on TV with Eva Gabor, and suddenly, everyone wanted it. Perfect for a house full of cousins during the holidays, because somebody was going to fall, and everybody was going to laugh.
Okay, everybody, let's go!
Give your children Tonka Toys and you've started something.
Tonka trucks were built like they could survive anything. The company name comes from Lake Minnetonka, and those sturdy metal trucks were made for real play. Dirt piles, snowbanks, sandbox construction sites. A new Tonka didn't stay clean for long. The first decent snowfall or the first trip outside, and it was already on the job. Slip and slide arrived in the early 60s, and the concept was genius in its simplicity. A long plastic sheet, a hose, and suddenly your backyard became a slippery runway. Opening one on Christmas morning meant one thing: counting down the days until you could send yourself flying across the lawn at full speed. Operation became a classic almost overnight. Created by John Spinello in the mid-60s, it turned into the buzzing, nerve-wracking game everyone remembers. Pull out the tiny pieces without touching the edges, or the nose lights up and the buzzer announces your failure to the entire room.
Holly Hobby, Magic Glow Dollhouse. Stand it up and you're ready to play.
Colorforms were reusable vinyl shapes that stuck to a smooth background. You could build scenes, rearrange everything, and start fresh without any cleanup. Sets came with different themes, but half the fun was ignoring the instructions and creating your own weird little stories. Pet Rock was pure 70s absurdity, and that's why it worked. It launched in 1975, a rock in a cardboard carrier with air holes and a hilarious instruction manual. Some people rolled their eyes, others couldn't stop laughing, but plenty of kids still wanted one. Uno started as a homemade card game in 1971 when barber Merle Robbins got tired of arguing over rules during family game night. He made his own deck, and it exploded from there. The rules were simple, but games got heated fast, especially when someone dropped a draw 4 on you. Nerf started with a simple promise. You could throw it in the house and not destroy the place. The first Nerf ball hit big in 1970, marketed as an indoor ball you can play with anywhere. We tossed it down hallways, bounced it off couches, and tried not to get caught. Stretch Armstrong dropped in 1976, and the whole point was testing how far he could go. You pulled his arms, twisted his legs, tied him in knots, and somehow, he always snapped back. The second you got your hands on one, he was already getting stretched.
Check out this new toy. Clackers.
What are clackers?
Clackers were loud, simple, and instantly addictive. 2 hard balls on a string, and the goal was to get them clacking up and down without losing control. In the early 70s, they became a huge craze, and you could hear them from across the room. We tried to go faster, do tricks, and show off like it actually mattered. Simon came out in the late 70s and turned memory into a challenge you could hear. Invented by Ralph Baer and Howard Morrison, Milton Bradley brought it to stores in 1978. The rules were brutal. Watch the lights, listen to the tones, and repeat the pattern without messing up. It started easy, then suddenly you were one move away from losing. So which one of these takes you back the fastest? And what toy did you beg for every Christmas? Drop it in the comments, because I love reading the memories. And if this video brought someone to mind, share it with a friend or family member who grew up in the 60s or 70s too. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.